The compass was spinning uselessly, a cruel joke in the heart of this endless green labyrinth. 1 minute, I was on a marked trail. The next, swallowed whole by a forest that didn't seem to want me to leave. Panic, cold and sharp, began to prickle at the edges of my composure. Every tree looked the same, every shadow held a phantom shape. Days blurred into a desperate cycle of walking. Foraging for berries I vaguely recognized, and shivering through nights filled with the orchestra of unseen creatures. My water ran out on day 3. Hope was starting to feel like a distant memory. That's when I saw them. Figures moving with a silent grace that made the hair on my arms stand up. They weren't hikers. Their clothes were made of materials I couldn't identify, their skin adorned with intricate patterns of paint. My heart hammered against my ribs. Were they hostile? Had I stumbled into a place I was never meant to find? One of them, a woman with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of the forest itself, raised a hand. It wasn't a threat, but a gesture of calm. Still, I was frozen, a cornered animal waiting for the final move. They led me, not by force, but by a silent, undeniable authority, deeper into the woods. My fear was a constant companion, but it was slowly being replaced by awe. We arrived at a village that seemed to have grown from the earth itself. Huts woven from living branches, bridges of twisted roots, and the gentle hum of a community in perfect harmony with their surroundings. They gave me water from a hollowed-out gourd, the sweetest I had ever tasted, and a warm, savory stew that sent life flooding back into my exhausted body. No one spoke my language, yet their actions were a universal welcome. The woman who had first found me, whose name I learned was Elara, became my guide. Through gestures and a patience that humbled me, she began to teach me their ways. I learned how to read the forest not as a threat, but as a provider. Which plants healed and which nourished, how to track animals by the slightest disturbance in the leaves, and how to listen to the language of the birds. They showed me how they wove intricate baskets from vines and carved tools from fallen branches. It was a life of profound simplicity and deep connection, something my world of screens and deadlines had completely lost. I started to notice things I'd never seen before. The way sunlight filtered through the canopy, painting shifting patterns on the forest floor. The taste of fresh rainwater. The feeling of belonging to a community that functioned like a single, living organism. They didn't have our technology, but they had a different kind of wealth, a richness of spirit, and a deep understanding of the world. One evening, the entire village gathered. The beat of drums filled the air, a rhythmic pulse that seemed to sync with my own heartbeat. They began to dance around a central fire, their movements telling stories of the hunt, the seasons, and their ancestors. It was mesmerizing, a raw and beautiful expression of life. They poured me into the circle, and for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, I wasn't an outsider. I was just there, part of it all. Living with the tribe, I discovered their philosophy wasn't just about survival. It was about balance. They took only what they needed, leaving the rest for the forest to replenish. They respected every living thing, from the smallest insect to the largest tree, understanding that everything was interconnected. They saw the world not as something to be conquered, but as a sacred gift to be cherished. I learned more about life in those few weeks than I had in all my years in the civilized world. My old life, with its constant striving for more, felt hollow in comparison. Here, there was only the present moment, rich and full and real. One morning, Elara led me to the edge of the woods. In the distance, I could just make out the faint, familiar line of the trail I had lost so long ago. She handed me a small carved wooden bird, its details exquisite. She pointed to the trail, then to her heart, then to the sky. No words were needed. It was time for me to go, but I would carry a piece of them and this forest with me forever. The walk back was different. The forest was no longer a menacing entity, but a familiar friend. I saw the signs Elara had taught me, the language of the leaves and the whispers of the wind. I wasn't lost anymore, in more ways than one. Stepping back onto that marked path felt like waking from the most vivid dream. The world I returned to was the same, but I was irrevocably changed. I often find myself touching the small wooden bird I keep in my pocket, a tangible link to that hidden world. The experience taught me that sometimes getting lost is the only way to find what you're truly looking for. It stripped away everything I thought I was and showed me a more authentic way of being, a connection to the world and to others that I will spend the rest of my life trying to honor. That journey into the heart of the forest became a journey into the heart of myself. It's a story I had to share, a reminder that there is still magic and wisdom hidden away from our busy world, waiting to be found. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this adventure today. If this story moved you or made you think, I would be so grateful if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more stories that explore the hidden corners of our world. It means the world to me. See you in the next one.